Okay, my name is Terry Dolan. I was born in Toronto, went to St. Michael's College here, but looking into my family background, I determined from notes kept by my aunt on my father's side that John Dolan immigrated from either Sligo or Fermanagh counties, I'm not sure which, with Anne Caffrey, and my aunt's notes would have a comma, I haven't seen it yet, saying respectably, to Ontario in 1847. I say that because 1847 is when they got married in Newmarket at St. John's Church. Their youngest son was William Dolan, my grandfather, and John Dolan plied his trade as a blacksmith in Newmarket. My grandfather ended up working in a factory called Office Specialty Company in Newmarket for all of his working career, and had my father, his son John Campbell Dolan, and the aunt who kept track of these records. That is not nearly as interesting as my mother's side of the family, the Manleys. And if I look back at that history, what I found is that one Edward Manley and Margaret Dixon immigrated to Canada from County Mayo somewhat prior to 1854. I don't know exactly when, but I know 1854 because that is when John J. Manley was born in 1854 in Port Dalhousie, as it's pronounced down in that part of the province, spelt Dalhousie. But Captain John, as he's referred to, was a colorful character. As a youth, he drove the mules that hauled sailing ships through what was then the Welland, the present, or that time, Welland Canal. I'm sure that his father, Edward Manley, who had come there and had numerous children, including Captain John, was involved with canals. But John Manley went on, rose up, he became the captain of a dredging ship that they kept expanding the canal. He was quite a strong and forceful character. As he built this up, he then subsequently got involved in the company that was owning the dredging ships, and was heavily involved in the various expansions and extensions of the Welland Canal over the next several decades. He had several children, of whom one was Edward Joseph Manley, my grandfather. Another child, Hugh Manley, immigrated to Chicago, where he became a fireman and died in an effort to save a number of school children. And there is a school in Chicago called Hugh Manley Public School. Edward Joseph Manley married my grandmother, Mary Teresa McGarry, who produced, among other children, my mother, Margaret Manley. And this brings us to where we are. But Captain John became quite successful in his efforts to do that and support quite a large and active family in that area. And that's about the thumbnail sketch of the Manleys and the Dolans.